MindFlex.
Welcome to MindFlex. I'm Super Bowl champ and College Football Hall of Famer Aaron Taylor. With an improved mindset, you can enhance your performance. I'll share tools and insights to build resilience, confidence, and connections to help you feel and play your best. How different would your life be if you could find a way to let go of those grudges you've been holding on to? Like the old saying goes, forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. I know, pretty deep, right? As I've shared, growing up wasn't easy for me. My childhood was marked by divorce, various forms of abuse, and a whole lot of disappointment from constantly being let down in one way or another. One story stands out in particular. When I was 8, my dad came to visit from out of state and promised to pick me up and take me to an amusement park. You can imagine my excitement, not just to go have some fun, but to do it with my dad who I hadn't seen in almost 3 years. So there I was, an excited 8-year-old little boy planted on our couch with a big old goofy grin on my face, eyes glued to the window, not wanting to miss him. And I waited, not budging from that spot on the couch for hours, but he never showed. For years, that was my lasting memory of my father, me sitting there, alone, feeling sad and broken, assuming that there must be something wrong with me and wondering why he didn't show up. On that day, it felt like a big part of my innocence and self-esteem died, and it's taken decades of healing to bring them back to life. As I grew older and found success in sports, I missed my dad and thought about him a lot, but I also wanted him to feel the same pain that I did. I was angry and villainized him for not being the father I expected, and I let that anger drive me. You see, anger gave me a false sense of power and control, masking the deep sadness I felt beneath it. But wearing masks comes with a price, because all those years of anger and resentment were like clutching onto a burning coal with the intention of hurling it at him. But guess who was getting burned? Yup, me. But all that changed years later when I heard someone talking about their journey to forgiveness with their own father, using words that I'll never forget. I realized I had to let my dad off the hook for being human. That comment hit me between the eyes, and it changed my life, as it's helped me to realize the anger that I was holding on to towards my father was really just a way for me to remain deeply and emotionally connected to him. But it wasn't the healthy connection I truly longed for. So I knew I had to make peace with my past in order to move forward, to be a better husband and father. Eventually, I finally mustered up the courage to reach out to him, and we reconnected slowly. We started with letters, then moved to emails, and eventually met in person under circumstances that can only be described as divine. And although it was awkward and uncomfortable at first, it's now in a great place and has been deeply healing for both of us. To this day, I'm not sure who's benefited more, me by giving forgiveness or him receiving it. And after almost 30 years, that wounded 8-year-old little boy that was sitting on that couch was finally on a path towards understanding, with forgiveness and inner peace not far behind. We now see each other 2 to 3 times per year and talk and text pretty regularly. So here's today's MindFlex, the tool that invites you to stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone and move closer towards the results that you want with a greater sense of ease. Forgiveness is a superpower, a key to emotional freedom. It unlocks the burdens of the past and improves our relationships and creates space for new and positive experiences in our lives. But don't get it twisted. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you just forget what happened or that what they did was okay. It means you're choosing to take control of your healing process. So here's some things to consider when you become willing to do just that. First, determine the cause of your resentment. Start by thinking about a person, place, or thing that you're holding a grudge against. Who or what was involved, and what'd they do? Why do you feel this way? It's important to be specific and honest with yourself. For me, it was my father, a broken promise, and feeling let down, and like I wasn't good enough. Next, acknowledge your feelings. Recognize how this resentment affects you emotionally, mentally, physically, and even spiritually if that's your jam. What price are you paying for holding on to it so tightly? Do you feel cheated, betrayed, doubtful? For me, I had to comfort the deep hurt and anger I felt towards my dad, and as a result, it became hard for me to open up and trust people. Then, and this can be a tough one to swallow, take a moment to think about your role in the situation. This doesn't mean blaming yourself, of course, but being open to seeing how you might be adding to your own hurt by clinging to these feelings, even if they feel totally justified. Think about any expectations or attitudes that might have fed into the hurt feelings, as expectations can often set us up for disappointment and resentment. Asking yourself something like, what am I actually getting out of holding on to this resentment? And what's the risk if I let it go? Can really help you uncover some real truths. And then, and this is important, consider what you might gain from letting it go and moving on. And finally, here's the big one. Accept what happened and make a conscious decision or choice to forgive. I find that acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today, but it's important to remember that acceptance does not mean approval, nor is it about excusing what happened. It's about freeing yourself and coming to grips with the facts. It's saying, I'm not going to let this control me anymore. For me, forgiving my dad was like removing a heavy stone from my emotional backpack. It didn't erase the past, but it allowed me and him to move on and move forward with lighter hearts. Remember, forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past, which is why it holds the key to unlocking an improved future for yourself. So I ask you this, who do you need to forgive? Maybe it's yourself, maybe it's someone else. Whoever it is, take that first step today, even if it's a small one. It's crucial for your well-being for you to understand that you have the power to transform your life, and that you're just one thought, one decision, one simple act of courage and forgiveness away from releasing the brakes on the happiness that's been waiting on you. MindFlex is powered by Radical Hope. Embrace the journey, push your limits, and keep growing. Together, we can thrive. Until next time, stay strong.